Welcome everyone to a very special edition of the Sports Corner on Zoom. As you can see our faces for the first time. Some very special guests in this recording. Why don't we go around, everyone introduce themselves, starting with the eldest in the room, Mr. Nicholas Albert Supa.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. And yes, as he said it is me, Nicholas Supa. And for those who don't remember, I was Sebastian's co-host of the Sports Corner when it first started last spring of 2025. So it is a pleasure to be here on Zoom.
LG3, you're next.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know who it is. Lorenzo Gonzalez III, back here on the Sports Corner in a special edition on Zoom with the man Sebastian Stratton, and I am the co-host who took over for Nicholas Supa. He's season 1, I'm season 2, so it's like thing 1, thing 2. You can think of it like that. And the best part is we're both Steelers fans, and we're both huge Rocky fans. And tonight, as Nick Supa was talking about, they're having reruns on cable now of the Rocky movies. I think they're at 2 or 3 right now. However, we're both pretty similar co-hosts, except one's clean-shaven, one isn't. One's got the stash. But proud to be here tonight, and can't wait to talk some ball with my guys.
Well, I don't know if anybody, not even in Montclair, in New Jersey, has a better mustache than you. I don't know.
That is the highest honor I could. That is the best compliment I've had for my mustache. Thank you, Mr. Stratton.
One day I'll be able to grow one like that. I don't know. But
that means a lot, man.
Our last co-host, Mr. Mo Camel, a very well-represented person in WMSC sports, making an appearance. Mr. Camel, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, thank you, Sebastian, for having me on this very special episode of the Sports Corner. It's my first Sports Corner episode. Unfortunately, I could not be a part of it during the fall semester, but I'm happy to be on tonight with my great guys, and I can't wait to talk some ball. Let's just jump right into it.
Well, there's no, I mean, we were supposed to do this show last week. Mo, you were the one that brought up the idea, but I feel like this is the best time to do it. It's week 18. It can't get much better. The 3 Steelers fans here, it's win or go home. I mean, we have Nick. Nick is suiting up. He's joining the wide receiver group. Slot him in, replacing DK Metcalf. So that's our replacement option for the week. Of course, Nick, very much a welcome back. Very much missed you on season 2, but glad to have you here today.
Missed you too, Sebastian. It was certainly, I'd say, the best way that I could finish out my last semester at Montclair State. And the fact that I'm back here doing this special edition is a privilege to be doing it with you, as well as Lorenzo and Mo. So I can't wait to do this. I'm very excited about it. And as Sebastian mentioned, I could possibly be on the sideline in Pittsburgh for week 18. So you may see my face, you may not.
Well, you have to remember AFC North ball. You can't wear a long sleeve shirt when you're playing. You have to tough it out.
That's true.
So I don't know. You better start getting acclimated to the weather after this show. Just get outside or do something. But let's jump right into it. Let's go in order, starting with the big games that truly matter in the playoff push. Starting with this Saturday, 4:30 p.m. on ESPN, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers for a potential NFC South winner. The Atlanta Falcons made things a little bit funky with their Monday night win over the Rams. So I believe the scenario is, even though if Tampa Bay wins this game, they aren't automatically the division champs because they need Atlanta to lose. But if Carolina wins this game at 8-8, Bryce Young and company will get the 4 seed, and most likely they could play the Rams. They could play the loser of the 49ers and Seahawks, which we will preview next. But fellas, what are we thinking about this crucial NFC South showdown?
I mean, it's... Oh, Lorenzo, after you, my man.
I didn't know where we were going to start with this. Supa, you'd like to go first, though.
Nick, take it away.
You're going to
handle the floor. You're the original co-host.
All
The
right.
original co-host
All right.
jumping right back into action.
All right. Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting one, as you said, Sebastian, because in the beginning of the season, I would have thought Tampa Bay Bucks are definitely winning the division, and all of a sudden things just they were getting a little rattled throughout the season, and they were losing some games where you'd think Baker Mayfield and the Bucks would definitely win, and it turned out to be upsets, which was definitely the big title for this year. There's been many upsets that you wouldn't think happen, and the fact that the Bucks are now 7-9, currently in second place in the NFC South, fighting to win the division. I did not expect that at all, that's for sure. And they're still the only two teams, if I'm not mistaken, in the NFC who have to try to clinch whether they'll be in the playoffs or they'll be eliminated from making the playoffs. Um, I in my brain, I'm thinking that the Bucks are going to win this, but again, you don't know, especially because it's division. Uh, and the fact that if the Bucks win and they still need what is it? They need Atlanta to lose, Sebastian.
Yeah, because there would be if Atlanta wins, there would be a three-way tie, and Tampa Bay doesn't have a lot of tiebreakers. They've lost those close divisional matchups. They lost to Carolina previously,
Yep.
23-20 about 2 weeks ago. So even if they win, it's not a matter of celebrating because obviously an 8-9 team shouldn't deserve a playoff spot anyway, but
Yeah.
there is a chance they can get in, but it comes with an Atlanta Falcons loss.
And I believe it happened uh, in Tom Brady's last year. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but his last year with the Bucks, didn't he finish 8-9 and they
Yeah,
still won the division?
2022.
That's
And
right.
Nick's
Yes.
right. Hmm.
So, guys, is it possible that the Bucks could do it again, but this time with Baker Mayfield in the quarterback position?
It's possible.
Very
Very much
possible.
possible.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So I definitely want to say the Bucks will come back and win this game against the Carolina Panthers. But you guys might have a different intake. What do you think?
Well, I wanted to say before Mr. Supa chimed in there, NFC South is a very interesting division this year. This is the game right here. As Sebastian's talked about 4:30. It's the Battle of the South. Winner takes all here. Bucks are coming off a 4-game losing streak. Panthers are coming off a major loss to the Seahawks, but a slew, and I mean a slew of huge victories to turn their season around. Whether it be opponents on the lesser side with the Cowboys, which was also a big victory earlier in the year because they were actually underdogs in that one, or just the victory they had a couple weeks ago against the Buccaneers, a rough one, 23-20, but they're a very weird team because they beat the Packers and then they lose to the Saints. I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers. So it's a
Yeah.
very and
Yeah.
in that kind of situation I think it's a divisional rivalry thing why they lost, but regardless, this might be the biggest game or one of the biggest games of the week, if not the next one we're going to probably be talking about next. But this is Todd Bowles' job on the line. Quite literally, this is the game, and this is the season where his job is on the line. It's currently hanging in the balance. Last time out against Carolina, Tampa Bay's passing game particularly stood out to me the most against Carolina. They were awful. Igbuka, who's also a player that the rookie, Mo really likes talking about, Emeka Igbuka. He had an awful game, honestly. His high, and I was shocked because he was the league leading receiver for that game on the team, or the team's leading receiver that game, excuse me, and he only had about 40 yards. So, and that's not something you usually see in Tampa Bay with the passing game. They're always the best with the passing game, especially earlier on this season and last season. And really, the defense has been completely lackluster, and we see it always with football. If your defense is awful, you're not winning any games. Defense wins football games, and that's always been true no matter what time it's been. And it's been true with the Bucs season. And I feel like that's been the derailment. I honestly, unlike Nick says, I can see the Panthers winning the division for the first time since 2015. because and the Bucks. Funny enough, the Bucks have won the division every year since 2021. And they came close that one year in 2020 when they won the Super Bowl. And that was because the Saints were there. They were 12-4. So it was a big head-on collision there. But very messy things in the South going on with the Panthers. Hopefully the Falcons aren't on their tail, and the Buccaneers. And I can honestly say I think Rico Dowdle, right?
Yeah, yep,
Yes.
Rico Dowdle.
Dowdle. I keep getting his name wrong. Rico Dowdle, I feel like will be the difference maker coming into this last game of the season, and everything's on the line.
The mustache was getting in the way there, Lorenzo. That's why you were jumbling your words.
Well,
I think so, man. I think so.
Well, Lorenzo, first of all, phenomenal take. Look at that. Look at that background. Look at all those things in the background. Mr. Sports Knowledge. But Lorenzo, you talked about, I do agree with the point in terms of Emeka Egbuka. 40 yards for your top receiver isn't acceptable, but also it definitely is difficult to place all of the blame on him. He is a rookie. You have other established guys who also played in that game, in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who both
Mike Evans coming off an injury too. Yeah.
Yes, although Evans scored a touchdown, him and Chris Godwin both combined for less than 65 yards.
Yeah, and Bucky Irvin only ran, and Bucky Irvin was probably the best on the offense, and he kind of had a doubted day. He was only ran for like 71 yards.
That's a good point. So, Mo Campbell, thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big one, as you guys all mentioned. I mean, you talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They started the season 6-2, and they didn't have Chris Godwin or they didn't have Mike Evans. Emeka Egbuka was the guy in the passing game, and Bucky Irving was also hurt for a good part of the season. So, I mean, to start 6-2, and then lose 7 of 9 or 7 of 8, it's kind of just hard to watch. I mean, especially with guys that were injured, your top guns like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It's tough to see them in this position, especially because those guys are healthy. They're back now. But it's just that the defense also during that stretch has struggled for Tampa Bay. I mean, we saw them blow a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter on Thursday Night Football against the Falcons. That loss, they were frustrated, and Baker Mayfield couldn't even believe that they lost that game because they had that game in their hands, but the defense could not close it out. But looking at them right now, they have home field advantage for this game. But going on the Carolina Panthers side, I kind of do want to see the Panthers in the playoffs. I feel like just for a change. I mean, this team has been one of the worst in the league the last couple of seasons, and Bryce Young has become much better as a quarterback. And how about Rico Dowdle, right? Stepping in for Chuba Hubbard, who was hurt, and then he just started becoming one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, he had a revenge game against Dallas earlier this season. He showed what kind of running back he can be, and he's been the top guy in the backfield for the Panthers. So, to see the Panthers win the division this year would be pretty exciting. I mean, this team struggled the last couple of years. They're looking to make some noise, and they have made some noise. Beating some tough teams like the Packers, the Rams. They've beaten some pretty good teams. So if they get a home game in the playoffs, they can really make some noise.
Mo Campbell, look at that. First time on the Sports Corner with the analysis. That was phenomenal. I agree with all of those takes. And you talk about Lorenzo. I like going back to your point when you talked about the NFC South in general just being funky. If we were to restart the year right now, I think the Buccaneers are finishing in last. I think the Saints have played better as of late.
They won 4 straight games.
Which is crazy to say, too. Yeah, because you know what? I was about to mention after Mo said that. By the way, I agree with everything that Mo said there. That was an amazing point. I picked the Bucs to be the Super Bowl team this year.
A lot of people
season, I picked them as a Super Bowl team. And I'm just thinking.
A lot of people were. It's amazing.
I'm just saying to myself, thank goodness I'm not a betting man. I'd lose all that money in Atlantic City, wouldn't I?
Or Vegas.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. But,
anywhere where you can bet, I don't know. I mean, how could you not pick the Bucs though? Look at that offense. I know you lose Liam Cohen, but obviously the right move, I guess, should have been you bring Liam Cohen and then you fire Todd Bowles. So there could be a huge reset coming in Tampa Bay, and there's no excuse for it. Todd Bowles, his defense has given up a lot of points. The offense has a lot of weapons. Obviously, Baker Mayfield has not played well as of late. I think we need Nick in there. Nick, put your name in that 2026 draft, brother.
I think
Get
that'd
in
be
there.
pretty exciting, right?
We might see you at the combine in March. I don't know. Are you up for
In
that?
I'm up
Indianapolis.
for it. Hey, you might catch my face there at some point.
All right. But in general, a very huge game all the way around. Mo and Lorenzo, you both mentioned Rico Dowdle. And the thing is, it doesn't always have to rely on Rico Dowdle. Teteroa McMillan, if he gets involved early, he can be a factor. You have Chuba Hubbard, who can spell Dowdle. People forget Chuba Hubbard is still a very good running back. He was
Absolutely.
injured through the early
100%.
portion of the year. If he's healthy and they can work that tandem, they can be really good. Fellas, any last thoughts on this matchup in particular?
I have one, but does Mo? Do you have any last thoughts?
No, you go ahead, my man.
I was about to say this is one last thing from Enzo over here. The Saints and the Bucks have overall, since the NFC South has been a division since 2002, the Saints and the Bucks are tied at 7 for NFC South champion, like NFC South champion wins. The Panthers have 5, and the Falcons have the lowest at 4.
Wow.
If the Bucks win this week, coming up in Week 18, they will take lead of the NFC South championship bracket, which isn't the biggest thing going on, but it's still bragging rights for the rest of your division.
Well, there you have it.
And that's a good way to end it off. How about that? Moving on to
I do.
segment.
I just think this is Roger Goodell. He is somewhere right now enjoying this schedule. He got what he wanted. Congratulations. You got Steelers Ravens, which we'll preview in a bit. You have the NFC. You have the 1 seed in the NFC, which we'll also be talking about. A lot of chaos. Nicholas Albert Supa. We'll call you Nas. Call you Nas. Nicholas Albert Supa.
Or Nas, or like Nas the
Nas.
rapper.
All right, we can go with either one. Any last thoughts on this matchup, Nick?
All I'm gonna say is it's definitely gonna be an exciting one, and I think that this one can go either way.
Mo Camel, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Nick. I think it could go either way. Both teams are evenly matched. Yeah, why not? NFC South championship game. Let's do it.
And I know we'll do the upset of the week segment later on in the show, but we have to predict these matchups, which aren't necessarily huge upsets, especially in the divisional matchups. But let's go around, gentlemen. Who are we picking in this game? Nick started off, eldest.
I think the Bucks are gonna come back and win their second game against the Panthers. Honestly, I think it's gonna be another tight one. And I know we said before they haven't done very well with tight games, but I think they could pull it off.
All right, Lorenzo.
Give me the Carolina Panthers to step into beautiful Raymond James Stadium.
Beautiful field, by the way.
I think it's the best stadium in football, but that's a conversation for another time.
We'll get to that eventually.
They step into Raymond James Stadium, and they just put the nail in the coffin for the NFC South here. I know this team is hungry. It's been 10 years since they've been NFC South championships, and I think that Bryce Young and the squad are just going to keep pounding their way towards the playoffs. Despite perhaps being a 9-8 team, which I do agree with what you said earlier, Sebastian. I do not like the fact that I don't think 9-8 teams should also be in the playoffs as well. And just remember, before I know I'm going to bring history back in this again. I know there was a time in the NFL before the merger happened where they used to have just the divisions. There was no wild card, and the top team. For years, this went on for like 40 years, where the top team would automatically go to the playoffs. The rest of the teams would be eliminated no matter how good their record was. What a flip that has been in 2020, now that we transition all the way to 2025, and the crazy season the NFL has had. But, in short, give me Carolina to take this one in a very close game.
All right, we're at 1-1. Mr. Camel.
Give me the Carolina Panthers winning this one in a tight game, and I'll say why in about a second. Because guys, the Carolina Panthers have been in so many tight games this year. 9 games, 9 games. They have been in one-score games. They won 5 of them. And all 5 of them were by a field goal. So the Carolina Panthers have done a really good job executing in tight games. And, I mean, I would say if it's a tight game, Bryce Young, he's up for it. He's been in the moment this year. I mean, it's just, they beat Green Bay by 3. They beat the Rams by 3. They beat Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago by 3. So really, it's just going to – I think this game is going to come down to who executes down the stretch. And Carolina has been in the department for that. So I say if this is a tight one, Carolina will most likely come away with it.
So we're at 2-1 right now in favor of the Panthers. Nick, I guess you will be the odd man out in this vote because I am also taking the Carolina Panthers. I'm not a fan of this Bucs team. I think the mojo is completely gone. Again, you can get it back very quickly in this game, but I just don't see it happening. I think Todd Bowles has kind of lost the locker room, honestly. Bad quarterback play. Won't get it done for the Bucs, but it will for the Panthers if Bryce Young plays well. Was doubted so much early on. Andy Dalton came in, replaced him when Bryce Young was a rookie. This can be a whole nother topic for another day in terms of rookie quarterbacks. I know Bryce Young isn't a rookie anymore, but just needing more time to get established in the NFL because you aren't going to be good right away. I think they get it done at the beautiful Raymond J. James Stadium and just take that W, and whoever they play, they get a home game. The first time Dave Canales will go to the playoffs as a head coach, I like the odds.
There you have it. 3-1.
Oh, Nick.
Panthers.
Nick, you're the odd man out, buddy.
Well, hey, listen, it's definitely been a disappointing season for the Bucs. I will say that.
All it takes is one game. It does take one game.
Exactly.
In this scenario. With some help.
That's the thing.
With some help.
That's the reason why I guess I'm not going to give up on the Bucs in this game, but hey, again, it is division, so anything could happen, and the Panthers, as we mentioned many times, are great in one-score games. They already beat the Bucs, so let's see what they could do on the road in the Bucs' backyard this time around.
I like that saying, the Bucs' backyard, the double B's. We have the killer bees and we have the double B's here on Zoom, courtesy of Nick Supa. But that is the NFC South. And let's jump over about 4 hours later to the 8 p.m. game on ABC, Saturday Night Ball for the 1 seed for the second straight year. Last year, it was Lions-Vikings, a battle of 2-14-2 teams going to Detroit. Lions took that game and eventually lost to the Commanders, which obviously is another story. That's in the past. But we are in the present, and Sam Darnold, for the second straight year, is playing in a 1-seed game to get that. And the stakes are so huge because, Lorenzo, we mentioned what division winners have. For this, whoever loses, if it's the 49ers, they end 12-5, you drop all the way to the 5 seed. On the road, you basically lose that home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. 2 teams coming off 2 statement wins, Seahawks over the Panthers last week, and the 49ers in an absolute shootout over Lorenzo's maybe second favorite team, the Chicago Bears. What do we think of this matchup, fellas? We'll go in reverse order this time. Mo, you started off.
Sure. I mean, this is the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest matchup of the week. Because again, like you said, Sebastian, with the scenario, it's the 1 seed game / NFC West title game. So, both teams are at stake. It's going to be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, where the Super Bowl is being played. This is a high stakes game. I mean, we talk about Sam Darnold. It's just so crazy, guys, how Sam Darnold is in this situation again. for the second
Insane.
straight year. It's insane. I can't believe it. I mean, it's just the question is, will he do it again, or will he get it done this time? Is what I meant to say. I would say he could get it done again, but the 49ers have been a hot team. They've won 6 straight games after being 6-4. They've had so many injuries all season, but I mean, as we saw in that Sunday Night Football game last week against Chicago, or even the last 2 weeks, I mean, even they have 90 points in the last 2 games, 48 against the Colts and 42 against the Bears. That offense has been unstoppable. Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, like that offense, they have so many great weapons that they could go to offensively. And the question for the 49ers, I think, in this game is going to be, how does their defense respond? Their defense was not great last game, giving up 38 points to the Bears, but Robert Sala's got to make some adjustments there, a former Jets coach. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna come down, I think, to another close game for the 49ers, just like it did last week. But again, the Seahawks are a pretty dangerous team as well. Sam Darnold, again, the season he has had, 3,850 passing yards, which is 5th in the NFL. And I mean, again, it's like, he goes to a team and he makes them great, just like he did with Minnesota last year. They went 14-3. Unfortunately, they did lose in the first round to the Rams because they dropped to the 5 seed. They had to go on the road, and Sam Darnold didn't show up. So, this is a really tough matchup for both sides. But I think if you had to tell me who am I taking in this game, I think I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers because they've been a hot team. They're very dangerous. Again, if they could just clean up the things that they did wrong last game on defense, they can certainly come away with this one and be the 1 seed.
I have no disagreements with that argument, no doubt, but I think this is the one game, not similar, and I'm not saying there's no home field advantage for the Buccaneers, but you have the warm weather, you have a Panthers team that is very hungry, that knows they can beat the Buccaneers. I'm not saying that can flip-flop one way or another with the Seahawks and 49ers, but Levi Stadium is a huge home field advantage. With that crowd, likewise
Absolutely.
with the Seattle Seahawks, playing in that environment in hostile Seattle, I think this is a game where I'll give my prediction later on, but this is a real home field advantage. And for Sam Darnold, we saw it in the playoffs. We saw it last year when they played the Rams. It wasn't all his fault, but he got sacked multiple times, wasn't as efficient as he was in the regular season. He does not need to play hero ball. I'll say this, if the Seahawks have 1 or less turnover, they win this game. They win this game. Sam Darnold turned it over twice on Thursday Night Football versus the Rams, but their defense and their offense, when they get cooking and Jackson Smith and Jigba in that Thursday night game finished the first half with 0 catches, your best receiver, who at one point could have broken the record in the NFL for most receiving yards in a season, he has to get involved. It doesn't need to be hero ball. You have a very solid running back tandem, Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. If Njigba gets involved, Cooper Kupp, AJ Barner, and you just don't turn the ball over and allow your defense to win the weighty downs, I think Seattle can take this game in a position where a lot of people are picking the 49ers, rightfully so. I get it. They've been playing very well, so I understand it. LG3, your thoughts?
Well, we got a lot to unpack with this one here. 2 high-octane forces colliding head-on is the best way that I can put this. It's the best of the West, literally. 13-3 Seattle, 12-4 San Francisco. Memories of the 2013 NFC Championship game just dangle in my head. Of course, we won't have we might have actually better teams than that heading into this game. That's a debate for another time as well. However, from top to bottom, this is a stacked game, and we might honestly see from a fan perspective a game of the season right here. San Francisco, first of all, just unbelievable. I'm really shocked that Mo and you didn't mention it, Sebastian, how much they've come back from injuries. I mean, it was they had backup. I mean, we heard about Purdy and we heard about Kittle and McCaffrey once again, all out. The three big heads of the offense for San Francisco just messes all around on coaching and what backups they could find. And despite that, they still weathered the storm. They were still able to hold their season together, which is just a testament and just shows you that this 49ers have one of the best coaching staffs in the entire league, and there's no question about it. I do think heading into and the one game that showed me everything that I needed to know was like when you mentioned earlier, the Bears game, the Bears and 49ers. I had Chicago winning that one in a good margin, and they came this close. They came this close, and I believe that was the game of the year right there. I think we can see both those teams in the NFC Championship heading down the line. And, out of nowhere, the Niners just come back. They were able to finish it off. Purdy showcases that excellent arm he has once again, and they put the nail in the coffin. It was over. It was a deep pass down the middle to Jennings, 38 yards, and that sealed the deal for San Francisco. So heading into this, I think the 49ers can definitely win this game. However, the other side, a team that can definitely win it, is the Seattle Seahawks. Hey, Minnesota Vikings, how does it feel now that you got rid of this guy? You shipped him like a box of cargo all the way up to the West. If I was first thing I'm looking at this game is I don't want to be a Vikings fan. You look at this game, you look at the season Seattle's had and the trajectory of up and down. It's pretty insane. And I really felt this one coming. I think the Vikings, and if this doesn't show you how terrible of a generational bust trade that was, whoever made that decision, by the way, in Minnesota, ought to get fired. They ought to kick him out of the building. This was just like Saquon with the Eagles bad, that kind of situation. I think it was a terrible move. From the beginning, I knew this was going to happen. And then even better, they become 13-3. They're looking like Super Bowl contenders. Do I even need to mention about JSN, the top receiver in the entire league, lighting up records like never before, or get into that level of lighting up records? It's unbelievable how all that took place in the span of not even a year. The Seahawks were out just like that. They lose Geno Smith. Good. They tossed his bags to Las Vegas and got Sam Darnold. And another testament to just amazing coaching and all around amazing offenses. That's the biggest thing about this game. And Mo touched a little bit on it. You're not really going to see too much defense in this one, I don't think. I think it's going to be like the Bucs and Panthers game. It's going to be a lot more offense. It's going to be an offensive showcase. Just like we saw with the Bears-Niners game, there's not going to be too much defense. But heading into this one, it can really go either way. But hey, I'm going to take the team that lives up to their tagline of being true road warriors, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Niners get a little edge in this one, and I do see I don't know, Sebastian, did you pick Seattle for this one?
I will be picking them, yes. I think Seattle wins.
I think this could honestly go either way.
I agree. That's why
Yeah, I was going to say, I think my decision can honestly change like that. But you take a look at both these teams they're just unbelievable on away or home. They're even better on the road. And in this scenario, the Niners are playing at home. The Seahawks could honestly take it being the away team. They're 8-1 away. The Niners they would be 8-1 away if they won this game. They're 7-1 away. And the 49ers are right there at 7-2 away. So, yeah. But I have a feeling deep down, I don't know what it is. I do think, just like Mo said, if Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, and the rest of the team can fix the defense up just a little bit, not come too close of a heart attack like they had with the Chicago Bears game, I think they can pick up a victory here. And I think that, like I said, the pendulum can swing like that in this game. It's all I know is that this is going to be a game you don't want to miss. Get the popcorn, get the soda, get everything you can. Pull out that huge widescreen TV for the family and tune into this one because it's going to be great.
I'll say this, Nick, before we get to your thoughts, once again, phenomenal takes. I agree with about everything you said. This is one of those games that coming into the season, first of all, and maybe Nick will mention it, but I don't think any of us. Well, you talked about Kyle Shanahan. People don't, he is honestly up to this point, and it's probably a little bit discredited because he lost those two Super Bowls. He is still very underrated. I think Kyle Shanahan is still an underrated coach. People forget you have the two trees in football, not the trees in Nick's backyard, the two coaching trees of Shanahan and Sean McVay. Though that's basically the top. And I'm not talking about, I think Mike Tomlin's only tree is the tree nut bar he had for breakfast this morning. That might be it in terms of a tree. But these are two games, and I'll say this. I know we haven't talked about it, but the coach of the year candidate, I think the winner of this game, more in particular for Seattle and Mike McDonald, if they win this game, Mike McDonald is the coach of the year. I think he is. They'll finish 14-3 in the one seed in a division for the first time or second year. I forget. Is it McDonald's first or second year?
First,
Second, I believe.
I think
Right?
it's his first year.
Okay. First year. Was with Baltimore, was very good
Second
as a
year.
defensive coordinator.
It's his second
Yeah,
year.
it is a second year, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think I
Because
had a feeling it was.
that's
Yeah.
what I remember Zachary Orr, who is the Baltimore Ravens coordinator now. I remember him being there last year, so that's why I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, second year in a division against two highly coveted coaches. This can go either way, as you said. Mr. Supa, you've been waiting around for a bit. Dive into the thoughts.
Well, I think there's no question that this is probably going to be the game of the week. Uh, I think I'll definitely have a lot more fun watching this than the Steelers game because let's
Oh
be
boy,
honest, they just make it so frustrating every single game, no matter who they play. We
I
saw
might
last
punch. I
week.
might punch the screen during the Zoom call talking about the Steelers.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to them.
Oh, they're
Unfortunately,
next. I'm ready
it
for it.
in a little bit we'll get to them, but just I think this is going to be a very, very fun back and forth battle because there's when you look at it, they both already clinched a spot in the playoffs, so you know they're going to be in the playoffs. But it's just amazing the fact that they're not only fighting for the division lead and the winner of the division, but they're also fighting, as we mentioned, for the number one seed, which is incredible because as we said, the 49ers, they were okay. And you know, in the beginning, they had Purdy for a couple games, but most of it was Mac Jones, and then Purdy came back in like the final six games and won all six of them. And if I counted it correctly, I think he threw like 16 passing touchdowns. 16 passing touchdowns. Not and not to forget, not to also forget that against the Colts, threw a career high five touchdowns. And I think in the last game he threw like another three. I think there was at least 3 games he threw like at least 3 touchdowns. So he's definitely got the hot hand right now. And going into this game, again, the Seattle Seahawks, I think it was a rebuilding year for them, and all of a sudden they came out on fire. They got Sam Darnold as their quarterback. They got Cooper Cup from the Rams. And by the way, speaking of the Rams, the first thing I thought about while we were talking about this game was when the Seahawks went against the Rams a couple weeks ago. I could not believe that because the first time they played each other, the Rams won. Unfortunately, I forgot what the score was, but the Rams
21-19.
did. What was it?
21-19.
Thank you. 21-19. And I thought the Rams were definitely winning this one. And it seemed like they were up by 16 in the fourth quarter. It was like 30-14. And all of a sudden, the Seahawks got like that 58-yard punt return, I believe. And then, like, not too long after that, on 2 plays, the next drive scored a touchdown, 2-point conversion, tied the game. Go to overtime. Rams get the lead with a touchdown. Seahawks need a touchdown or else they lose. Go right down the field, touchdown, and take the gamble on the 2-point conversion, and they get it with your man, Jackson. What's his name? I always forget his name. Smith Jigba, right? That's his name.
So you forgot the N, Nick. How can you forget the
And
N
Jigba,
in the
excuse me.
Nicholas
I'm in the zone
Yes,
right now. I forget.
but yes,
I'm in the zone. Unfortunately, my apologies on that, Jackson. But a phenomenal game for you on that one, and I thought that was just incredible. What a drive and what a game too. And that cost the Rams, at least in my opinion, that cost the Rams probably the division because they were in the run for it at the time, 11-2, and they lost their last two games, and that killed them from winning the division. But as far as the Seahawks and the 49ers going in this game, I think it's definitely going to be a tight one. The first game, they played each other. It was the first game of the season, and Purdy was the quarterback. 49ers did win. And unfortunately, Sebastian, I think you're going to be the odd man out this time around. I'm going with the 49ers on this one. It's definitely going to be close. They both won six in a row. Their records at home, on the road, and against the conference are very, very similar, but I think the Niners are going to come out on top as winners of the division and the number one seed in the NFC conference.
Nicholas Supa. You haven't skipped a beat since you left the sports corner. But I'll say this: no matter who the winner is, I think the most impressive thing about all of this, you went on that whole rant so detailed. That hair of yours did not move once. Tell the viewers about the hair product you use. We need a little insight.
Well, not today. I didn't use it. It was just what they call a blow dryer, you know. But
Okay, all right, but
I I just tried to put it in place today. But I use Redkin. I use a little Redkin hair gel.
all right.
When I'm ready for work or when I'm going somewhere nice. But but now you guys know that's the secret. So but
Secret sauce
I
of Supa.
recommend Redkin gel.
Okay. But Nick, I thought you made, first of all, phenomenal points all the way around. When we talk about the Seahawks and you talked about that first matchup where the Rams won 21-19, that was a game where Seattle, they had the ball in their court, final play. Obviously, a 60-plus yard field goal by Jason Myers isn't the easiest thing to do because he missed it. But that was a game where Sam Darnold threw four interceptions and the Seahawks had a chance up until the final moment. That's also a game where Matthew Stafford didn't throw any interceptions. He played pretty well, and that's what makes the Seahawks defense so scary, in my opinion. They don't necessarily need too many turnovers in order to get the ball. Where you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, where if they don't get a turnover, Mike Tomlin's handing out Twix bars in the locker rooms and congratulating everyone on going 9-8. Yay, 9-8. So I think you have that difference, and that's really what separates those two teams. I was thinking about the three, how I'm the odd man out here. But we have our picks. I am Seahawks. You three are 49ers. Any final thoughts on this matchup all the way around?
For nothing, Sebastian, this is kind of a little off topic, but the New York Jets might become the first team in NFL history to not record a single interception.
That's really
I
that's
did
honestly
see that.
What? Are
Yes,
you kidding?
crazy.
I did
No.
see
Wait,
that.
is Mo faking that, or
No.
is that a real stat? This
That is
season?
that
I
is real.
swear, this was
Oh
on
my
Instagram.
God.
I saw it this morning. I thought it was fake. And Lorenzo, Mo's statement is true. It is a fact that the Jets have not recorded a single interception, and if they don't do it against the Bills this weekend, they have not recorded one interception all season of 2025.
Ugh, so bad.
First time since
And they
1933.
fire their defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes too.
During the season, yeah.
That's bad. Well, I don't know, Nick. Quick question: do you know how far the game is? They're playing the Patriots, right?
Who, the Jets?
The
Yeah.
Jets are playing the
No,
Bills.
Oh,
they're
no.
playing the
Bills.
Bills.
Yes. How far?
What?
Yes. The Jets are playing the Bills in Orchard Park. Nick, how far is Buffalo from Pittsburgh? Because I think what we have to do is you need to play cornerback for the Jets and then meet the Steelers at halftime and play wide receiver.
Well, let's keep going on with the conversation. I'm gonna have to look that up right now because unfortunately I do enjoy math, but unfortunately, I'm not that great. I'm not
All
that
right.
great at math.
Well,
But while we're
all of us.
talking, I'm gonna look it up for you, and I'll tell you and the viewers that are listening
Hey,
All right.
how far it is to what is it? How far it is to drive from Buffalo to
Well,
Pittsburgh?
if you can get a quick flight on Mo's private jet, that's fine too. I don't know if he'll lend it to you. You have to ask Mo.
hey, Sebastian.
I do it.
He's the butcher, the baker, the sailor, and the maker, right? On a football team.
Yep.
He could do it all.
He's basically the Taysom Hill, but with look at that hair. It hasn't moved once. Look at that thing. So phenomenal, so exceptional, just like these first two matchups. So we have our predictions 3-1 from Tampa Bay and Carolina, and now 3-1 where I am the odd man out in Seattle and San Francisco. But it is that time to preview the game. And I think we all know what game we are talking about. Sunday Night Football, Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Oh
at the
boy.
beautiful Acrisure Stadium, formerly known as Heinz Field, in a winner take all, as Mike Tomlin called it in his press conference this past Tuesday, the AFC North Championship game. 9-7 versus 8-8. These two teams met up a few weeks ago in Baltimore. Pittsburgh won that game, led by DK Metcalf with over 100 receiving yards, but he decided to punch a Lions fan. Okay, punch the Lions fan. He's now suspended. Darnell Washington breaks his forearm, and everything is starting to go on the Baltimore Ravens' side. They beat the Packers. Derrick Henry rushes us for 4 touchdowns. Fellas, what do we think of this crucial matchup?
Well, before we say anything, Sebastian, to answer your question from earlier, if I were to travel
Okay,
from
this is big.
Buffalo to Pittsburgh, driving time little over 3 hours apparently,
All
and
right.
a flight would be about an hour, maybe a little under an hour.
Okay, so maybe you play cornerback for the first half for the Jets. Get your interception, and then try to get to Pittsburgh. If you don't get there by kickoff, you can try getting there by the second quarter halftime, maybe.
That sounds about right. Unfortunately, I don't have the powers of the Flash. I wish
Well,
I did,
Mo has his
but
private jet.
Yeah, you can get my
but
private
we
jet,
do
Nick.
have most
See?
private jets, so I can get away with it possibly.
All right.
But
Nick, dive into it. Dive into it.
as far as Steelers Ravens though, goodness, should we even talk about this?
I want to talk about this, Nick.
Well, I want to
I
talk
don't
about it
think
too.
we want to hear you talk about it, Lorenzo. I don't want to hear
Oh,
anybody
I need
talk
to hear
about it.
Lorenzo
But
talk about it.
I
as
think,
far
yeah,
as
I
this,
think
No,
Mo
we
does.
have to
I think
save
Mo on it.
Lorenzo's going last. We have to save the best for last in
all
this
right.
rant.
Well, as
That's
far
the
as
perfect
this,
way to do it.
All right.
as far as this, I think it was talked about all week. There was a chance that Lamar Jackson would not be the starting quarterback. There was rumors that if he wasn't playing, obviously Tyler Huntley would be the quarterback, and I don't feel good when going against him because there's just something about Huntley where he has beaten us in the past. And when it comes to Lamar Jackson as our quarterback, he is known to choke. And and since his time in the NFL, that's the one team that gets him a lot of the time when playing him. And you'd think he would get familiar with them because it's the team that they play 2 times a year. But he just can't figure out the rhythm against Pittsburgh, which, of course, as a Steelers fan, I love seeing that all the time. And that it turns out that's going to be the case this Sunday. Lamar Jackson is returning as the Ravens quarterback in this game, traveling to Pittsburgh. And then on the Pittsburgh side, not that this really matters because we haven't really heard much all year, but you know him, TJ Watt. It looks like he will be returning now on the defensive side of things for Pittsburgh. And listen, he has definitely been having probably the worst year of his career. But if he could come through in this final game, I'm not going to complain about TJ Watt at all. But, and again, Lorenzo said it himself, defense wins games. So that would be great if the Steelers defense could pull through. They seem to be getting better, but the offense has got to pull through. We saw that last week against the Browns, not getting into that one because that was just god awful to watch. Losing 10-6 to a 3-12 Cleveland Browns team, fourth straight loss in Cleveland. And I just thank God a majority of the second half I did not watch. I was out during that time of the game, but when I saw that it was still 10-6 in the fourth quarter, I just I shut the game right off. And it was like around Christmas time. I was watching Snoopy. I'm watching all Christmas movies. I'd rather have that on over the Steelers losing 10-6 to the Browns. But as far as this, it's going to be interesting. As always, Steelers leaving it up for the final week of the season, trying to see whether or not they will make the playoffs with another possible 10-7 or 9-8 record. You prefer 10-7 because for the Steelers, they'll be in the playoffs and they'll clinch the division. They finish 9-8. Yes, they will finish with another record above 500, but that's not enough. They will be out of the playoffs, and the Ravens, who started out 1-5, will miraculously come back and win the division. As John Harbaugh said when they started out 1-5, we will not be out of this and we will win the division, if not make the playoffs. And if the Ravens do win, that statement will come true. But it's definitely going to be interesting. I know the majority of people picked the Ravens over Pittsburgh. I'm not saying this to be biased, but again, with Lamar Jackson as the quarterback, I know that the Steelers have a lot of injuries all around. Not to mention, Metcalf, thank you for laying a punch at the worst time on a Lions fan. And thank you for doing that to me on fantasy. So excited to have you as a Steelers fan, as have you on the Steelers, excuse me. But I still think that there's a chance the Steelers could whoop up something in the kitchen and cook something sweet enough in order for them to win this big game and bring the Steelers back into the playoffs. So I'm picking my Pittsburgh Steelers for this one. What do we think?
Look at Nick with the phenomenal thoughts on this game.
Move again.
Hey,
That was
Nick,
great.
offense, never forget. Offense sells the tickets. Defense wins the ball games.
Like I said, you got to have defense
That's
to
the
win
whole
ball
quote.
games.
That's the whole quote.
Well, and here's the great thing about this matchup. Before we get into most thoughts, the good thing, and honestly, since week one, this, besides DK Metcalf and Darnell Washington, this may actually be the healthiest the Steelers have been. These are all the players that are returning. You have TJ Watt, James Pierre, who is the starting cornerback besides Joey Porter Jr. When he plays, you can move Jalen Ramsey to safety, and you have that tandem with Kyle Duggar. Isaac Seumalo, who can now be inserted back into left guard. And the reason why that is so crucial is because Spencer Anderson, the sixth offensive lineman, he can be used as a swing tackle in those jumbo sets that Arthur Smith likes to use, and you can really get the run game going that way. Kenneth Gainwell, who was just named the team's MVP, he has been really, really good. You pair him along with Jaylen Warren. If they can run the ball efficiently, that opens up the passing game. We need to see a lot of Pat Freiermuth. He was very good on that final drive versus Cleveland. And then for some reason, Aaron Rodgers decided to target Marquez Valdez-Scantling 3 separate times in the end zone, and they lost the game. So honestly, this is a very healthy Steelers team besides those two players. It's for all the marbles at home in week 18. So I am also going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Steelers quarter zip on. Shout out Pittsburgh. Although I may be mad at you, I can never root against you, no matter how upset I am. So I am also taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mo Camel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was in a similar situation with Nick during that game. I was actually out as well. I was actually in Hoboken last Sunday. But then I saw, like Nick, just like you said, I saw the game. It was still 10-6, and then I turned it on, and I watched that final drive. I saw them driving down the field. I was like, oh, my God, they actually have a chance to tie the game or at least force overtime, if anything. But they couldn't convert in the red zone. Like Sebastian said, Aaron Rodgers targeted MVS 3 separate times, and on that last play, there was no flag, and the game was over. The Cleveland Browns won the game. But yeah, I mean, it was hard to watch. I mean, definitely for you guys especially, it was tough to watch. I mean, that's a game the Steelers kind of had to have. And last season, Sebastian, we all saw it. Like, they couldn't win the key games down the stretch. So, this is 100% the most important game of the season. But I think, this game on the Steelers side definitely comes down to stopping Derrick Henry and the rushing game. I mean, we saw what he did last game. I was talking with Sebastian earlier, texting him like, they got to stop Derrick Henry. Like, I mean, the guy had 4 rushing touchdowns last game. I mean, it's gonna be a long night if they're not able to stop Derrick Henry. But I mean, yeah, Lamar Jackson though. Talking about Lamar Jackson, last time out he didn't really play as well. I mean, against the Steelers back in, I believe, week 12 or 13, week 12, I think it was. Yeah, he didn't have his best game, but he gave themselves, the Ravens, a chance to win. Obviously, controversial calls at the end of that game. Again, literally my armpits were sweating watching that game. But it's gonna be another tight game. But if the Steelers, if TJ Watt is able to get to Lamar Jackson, if the defensive line is able to get to Lamar Jackson, put some pressure on him, try and make some force tough passes, shut down the run game, I think the Steelers will have a good chance to win this game. But of course, the offense is very important. I mean, last game, not the best offensively. The Steelers were just not able to drive it down the field. They had to, just punt. And I mean, I think even in the fourth quarter, Chris Boswell missed the field goal as well. So that's another game. That's another game, Sebastian.
Oh, it's bad when that happens.
Yeah, that's another game where Chris Boswell misses a key field goal, just like we saw a couple weeks ago against the Lions. You gotta execute. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta execute, especially on the offense, special teams. It's got to be a team effort if the Steelers want to come away with this game and win the division, of course, and get to the playoffs. Get a home game.
That's the bottom line. Couldn't have said it any better. But Lorenzo, before we get to our thoughts, I just got inside information by Mr. Supa, who is at his grandma's house. Shout out Nick's grandma. Dinner is ready. First of all, what's for dinner?
I ordered myself a chicken parm dinner with penne.
You ordered something at Grandma's house. She wasn't cooking tonight. Come on, Nick.
We all did, Lorenzo. This wasn't my doing.
Look at you can never go wrong with Grandma. Tell Grandma we all said hello. But Nick, we started it. I don't know if we did it together when it was us on the Sports Corner, but we started a new segment called Upset of the Week. So I will give you a quick second to pull up the Week 18 NFL schedule. And Nick, pick whatever game that you feel is an upset for an underdog that you think has a good chance and that will win this week. Before you sign off.
Now let me ask you a question. Can I say a team in one of the matchups that we already said, or does it? Okay, it can be.
Because there's honestly some upsets. I saw with the Ravens, the so-called analysts, 9 out of 10 of them have the Ravens winning. So, and also the Ravens are favored.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I want to go with that one and say the Steelers over the Ravens.
Do it.
I'm gonna.
I want to end on a high note if you want to.
I'm going between that one and the game where I was the odd man out, as we mentioned before, the Bucks and Panthers picking the Bucks. So I'm like caught between those two. But I think I gotta go with my Steelers.
All right.
Upsetting everybody against the Baltimore Ravens.
Can't think too long about this. We can't let the chicken parm get cold. You can never eat a cold chicken parm. But
definitely can't.
Get over to Lorenzo's thoughts. Nicholas Supa, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on the show today. Have a great dinner. Listen, this is a great time today. Maybe, listen, we do a little playoff preview next week. Who knows? We'll see what we have going on. But for this special episode, maybe the last one of season 2 of the Sports Corner, I appreciate you being on, sir.
And Nick,
Yes.
I didn't know he was going to leave because I had to show him something once
He's
I
got
gave
chicken
my take
parm.
of the Steelers game. But if you listen back to this episode, you'll watch it. I want to keep
Towards
it a
the tail
surprise
end.
for the rest of the fellas
Okay.
after I give my Steelers predictions. You're going to love it, buddy. And I think
Hey,
so, Sebastian.
that sounds great. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to watch this once Sebastian uploads the episode. And Sebastian, my old host on the Sports Corner, thank you. I appreciate being on here. Great way to start the new year. By the way, Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year,
2026
everyone. Yep.
has
Happy New
begun.
Year.
And I hope to do this again very, very soon with all you guys. And enjoy the rest of your podcast episode of the Sports Corner.
All right, hold on.
tonight, fellas.
I need a quick favor from you, Nick.
Yes.
Because I will edit this. I need you to take a selfie with the chicken parm so I can input it into the video. I
Wait.
need that.
Do you need it now or when I get off? You want me to get a
When you
picture?
get off. No. When you get
Okay.
off, take it before dinner starts. Take that quick selfie, send it over. I will input the chicken parm video in the picture in the video.
Okay. Sounds
right.
good.
All right, Nick. See you, buddy.
See you guys. Have a good one, gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us again, Nick.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year, my man.
Happy New Year, guys.
See you soon, brother.
Nicholas Supa, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. But let's pick right back where we left off, saving the best for last. LG3.
Here we go.
Dive into this game. Yes, here we go.
All right, everybody. Here it is. This is the one that I've been waiting for. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Final game of the season. You know what? Right in the Berg, 8:20 p.m. on a Sunday, January 4th. And you better believe, folks, this is as horrible of a game this is probably going to be for both sides. It's still a football game, and it's still a divisional rivalry. And somehow we will get a wonderful showcase of perhaps defense, or will it just be a messy game? It's one or the other. However, another division on the line. This is a third straight game that we're talking about here on the Sports Corner where the division is on the line. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. More slots to fill than a casino, and I'm thinking of casinos a lot tonight. I better hush down in the casinos. Anyhow, let's be honest. Despite the outcome, will these teams even land far at all in the playoffs? Probably not. We can all sit here and say the same thing. They're probably not going to go too far in the playoffs, if I'm being honest. Do I think Pittsburgh still comes out despite an embarrassing losses throughout the season? And I'm talking the worst one, the Browns game. Monday Night Football with Joe Flacco and the Bengals. The terrible, absolutely horrible throwing of the Buffalo Bills all over in Pittsburgh. The embarrassing loss from the Packers, the Chargers. Do I still think that the Pittsburgh Steelers come out despite this embarrassing loss? I got 3 letters for you. Y-E-S. Yes, I do, ladies and gentlemen. But why? Well, with no offense other than the legs of Derrick Henry and a couple decent receivers, that's going to be the key focus for the Steelers, by the way. The Ravens are really in a total scare mode in my eyes. I feel like they can get going in this one, and they can definitely pull up to an early lead. I think we are going to see that. I think we're going to see a very close game the whole way around. It might just be a game of field goals, for all I know. That's what I think I really predict here. Boswell gets on point, which Mo, I'm glad you brought up that point because Boswell has actually made a couple crucial mistakes recently. We do not usually see almost any misses from Boswell. So amazing point by Mo there. And I was going to bring that one up as well. But the name of the game for the Steelers to win this game, in my eyes, is one word. And that is defense. Defense. Bring the D and bring your fence from your lawn out in here because that is what the Steelers need in this game, no question about it. It has been spotty all year long, giving up more than, get this, 356.8 yards a game, 39 touchdowns, and is ranked 27th overall in the National Football League. Sebastian, we mentioned on the show way back, I think about 2 months or 3 months back, the Steelers are the highest paid defense in the league. That is offensive. That is repulsive, if anything, of how they're 27th overall ranked in terms of allowing points and allowing yards. And they're 27th overall, and they're the highest paid defense in the league. That's terrible. You'd be shocked that the
Giants are the highest paid defense.
What's up?
I thought the Giants were the highest paid defense.
Was it
They're
the Steelers
close.
or the Giants?
But what's even worse about that? You have the Giants, who, starting the year, an offensive-minded head coach. You have Mike Tomlin as the head coach, who is supposedly a defensive guru. You have Terrell Austin. You have all of these guys, and you put heavy amounts. I know, Lorenzo, you don't agree with this, so we'll say 2 definite Hall of Famers currently on that defense, maybe 3, maybe. But you have TJ Watt and Jalen Ramsey, and still, if they don't get the splash play, there's just no consistency around them, and it really hurts. Again, you can turn it around right now in this Week 18 matchup, but it just blows my mind. I had to add that in there. Lorenzo, keep going.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing frustration. That is great that you added your frustration in that, because that's exactly the energy that is needed for this final game of the regular season. You're facing against a modern arch nemesis in the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to say modern because the Ravens have only been around for like less than 30 years. Steelers have had many rivals since then. But this is one of the most lethal that they've had in their franchise history. Now, 39 touchdowns. Think about that. 356 yards allowed, given up. 39 touchdowns given up this season. They're ranked 27th overall in the NFL. But wait a minute. Let's get a little bit closer now. The Baltimore Ravens defense is 25th in the league overall. Guess what? They gave up the same amount of touchdowns as the Pittsburgh Steelers at 39, as we're sitting here right now in the Sports Corner. This is a huge red flag all around. So you already know from that, in a big way, both these defenses, and this is the point, and I want to bring up what Sebastian just said. It really does help the Steelers, though, because there are the only advantage, the slight advantage they have in this defensive showcase is you got big names up there. You got Cam Hayward. You got Jalen Ramsey. You got TJ Watt. You got the rest of the company.
Highsmith, even Herbig.
Nick Herbig, exactly.
And the good thing about that with Watt back, because not that Herbig has necessarily been quiet, but when you have those as the starting linebacker in terms of Watt and Highsmith, Herbig is more rested and he can come in on those sure passing downs and just rush Lamar with 100% effort, which is what he's great at, and he's much better at that than he is stopping the run. So
definitely, 100%. Patrick Queen. In the last game with the Ravens, we saw Brandon Echols, who had a sack that game and a couple tackles. It's just all around. I still think that the defense, despite what the records are, despite the statistics I'm throwing out here, I'm making it like a statistical warfare, it is still in the hands of the Steelers defense in this one. And if they want to win this game, they have to stop Derrick Henry, not Lamar. Because I'm going to be honest, and I think you guys can agree with me here, he's had a lackluster season.
yeah,
Then, just like Nick Supa said before he signed off with his chicken parmesan, Tyler Huntley, he is the man that the Steelers should be afraid of. He's played even better than Lamar has this whole season. So I find it a huge mistake, honestly. Hot take for some people, but I think it's absolutely true. Why are they starting Lamar over Tyler Huntley? You are in this game. Tyler has played, I'm going to be honest, Tyler Huntley next to Mac Jones, I'd say those were the 2 best backup QB performances we've seen this season. No question about it. Tyler Huntley might have the best backup performance of any QB this season. I will say,
Lorenzo, think about this. Tyler Huntley, he beat the Bears.
He beat the Bears.
Bears.
Passer rating is 101. This guy should definitely be the starter going into this game against the Steelers. And I think, honestly, that's going to be the shot in the foot right there because Lamar's back. He's not playing at the level that he is. I see Sebastian's a little bit – he's thinking
No,
a little bit there.
I get what you're saying, honestly, because this is just such a results-oriented business. If Tyler Huntley went into Green Bay and threw for 250 yards and was the sole reason they won, I would agree. But here's the thing, I take a 100% Huntley over 75% Lamar. But according to Harbaugh, he's fully healthy, and when you're paying him that much money, you have to start him in a winner-take-all game, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no. See, you thought of the money part of it. I wasn't even thinking that. You're right about that. I think, and I agree with you on that. That's probably the only reason that they're starting Lamar mostly is because the guaranteed contract. And definitely because of the. And another thing is, you also got to realize merchandise sales as well.
They don't want to get him mad either. He's due for a contract extension.
Yeah.
There are a lot of quarterback needy teams. Insert Miami, Arizona. Lamar is from Miami. He could request a trade there. Go play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
I think honestly his best days are kind of behind him, and I think this season has been a testament of that. I think we saw a little bit of it last season, but this season we've seen it majorly. He'll
be 30 next year.
What's up?
He'll be 30 next year.
He'll be 30 next year, but that doesn't even matter in the NFL. Age never matters in the NFL. It's the player's drive. And the thing about Lamar is I do not see a drive in him this season. I don't see the same QB that I don't see the same Lamar that I saw in 2019. I don't see the same guy I saw 3 years ago. Not even last year I don't see the same guy. And the same thing with this team, they're crumbling. They're crumbled all around. Mark Andrews has become a scrub. He has become a scrub player for this team. Zay Flowers, he's pretty good. Hasn't done much this season. And if you're going to talk about this with the Ravens, they're a team that has been focusing on now. Oh, this is their glory. Everybody's saying this is their glory period. This is their glory time. This is going to be their Super Bowl period. This is everything. They haven't performed for nothing to earn that title, to earn that spot. I can name a ton of different teams that are performing right now that we mentioned today that are due for Super Bowl contenders right now. They're playing so much better. So honestly, that is why I will be picking the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Baltimore Ravens. I just don't – and if you want to add even more into it, look at the record that the Ravens and the Steelers have had since 2020. They're 9-3. I don't care. And, of course, a Ravens fan is going to come out there probably on this – if you're posting this on YouTube, they're probably going to write on the bottom of this video, oh, but – what about that play? What about that wild card game that they had last year against Pittsburgh? It doesn't matter because you guys didn't. Neither of us sealed the deal. The bottom line is you're 9-3. Your last game, you blew the whole thing away. People don't realize that was one of the worst. The Steelers-Ravens game was one of the worst throwaway games I've seen this entire season. What I mean by throwaway is the Ravens almost had it. And they just and you could watch it. And that's been the model of their season. They just let the other team win. There's no fight. And I know you mentioned, we talked about this many times, Sebastian. There's no fight with this team. They have no fight in them. I don't see one of these guys on this team that care about the team enough to have a good fight for them.
For Pittsburgh or Baltimore?
I'm talking about Baltimore.
Okay.
I don't see any player. Yeah. I don't see, and people want to, I want to mention this as well as one of my final thoughts with Tomlin before I show my nice surprise for the night for after I give my prediction of the Steelers game, which I already have. Everybody wants to, and including you, including Mo, including Nick, everybody wants, and I mean Sebastian, everybody wants to crap on Mike Tomlin. Everybody wants to say this about Mike Tomlin, that he's just looking for an above-average season, that he's just looking for this, he's just looking for that. It's going to be a first-round exit thing. What about Harbaugh? Is anybody talking about John Harbaugh? Anybody talking about how this guy doesn't care? I don't see no care, and I don't see, and trust me, I don't see care with Tomlin as much either. But this guy has talent handed right to him. In the palm of his hands. He has a great owner. And I'm not going to lie to you. The Ravens have an amazing owner. An amazing ran organization. I think Steve Bichetti, I think his name is, right? Steve Bichetti.
Yeah.
His name, the owner? Bichetti?
Yep.
Bichetti? One of the best owners in the league. He cares about this team. If he cares about this team this season, I think they move away from Harbaugh. And I think it's the fans have been asking for it. I think it's well overdue. And I think the coaching staff with this team's terrible. The whole team just doesn't care, I don't think. I really think there's not too much care in this team. And Lamar is one of the front runners of it. Because he's getting paid. And like you said, just like you said with the contract thing, I think he cares about keeping his spot. I don't think he cares about winning as much. And I think I'm really seeing it this season because you just look at the games that they've played. Look at some of these games that they just blew themselves. Like they didn't care. The Chiefs game is one of them. I remember after that you said it looks like Lamar just. I remember you, Sebastian. You said it just looks like this team doesn't care. The same thing with the Lions earlier in the one of the first games of the season. I think it was like week 3 or 4. Didn't care. Lost like that. The Bills game. Let that one slip away. And what was that again? They just didn't care. It took an injury, and it took a lot of chanting from the fans to finally get their head in the game. And that's where I think the Ravens are going to falter heading into this game. I think, once again, it's going to be a very close game. I think Pittsburgh is going to put on a good fight. And I think that the Ravens are too, but I still feel like it's a rough, because the Browns game was extremely rough. It gets worse and worse with the losses for us this season. Even though there's not too many, we're 9-7 right now. The losses have been brutal. They're not light losses. They have been brutal losses. If they lose this game on Sunday, though, the Steelers, the season's over. Quite frankly, the season is over. I don't think you could get back from that, quite honestly. And that's just it. Because we should be easily able to beat this team, because their biggest enemy is themselves. But I wanted to also bring up, my prediction is the Steelers over the Ravens. I wanted to bring up this nice beer, Iron City beer that I got.
Look at that beauty.
Christmas. Take a look at this, guys.
Woo!
1979 Pittsburgh Steelers, when they won their 4th Super Bowl. The whole team is on this bottle when they won it. Nice can right here. This is a collector's item right here, guys. Somebody drank it from the bottom here. But
all right, ready? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Here we go. Iron City beer. The
ready?
Best beer in Pittsburgh.
Ready? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Get that bottle back.
Yeah.
Name number 78 on that bottle.
Number 78.
I just picked a random number.
Dwight White.
Look at
He's
that.
a member of the Steel Curtain. He's a Hall of Fame member, my man.
Woo!
Dwight White.
Ball knowledge to the absolute maximum.
He gave me one random player, and I ran with it.
He was ready for it. Lorenzo, I don't think you could have gave a better preview. Whoever loses this game for the head coaches, the noise is going to get very loud. It's a situation, I think it gets a little bit louder, honestly, for Mike Tomlin. Because the difference is, and I do agree, at the end of the day, if you just don't win the Super Bowl, you don't get that grand prize. But John Harbaugh, he can always go back to, I mean, at least I've won some playoff games. I will say it again. I've said it at least 100 times. Mike Tomlin has not won a playoff game since Barack Obama was the president. That's very bad for a team that says they are going to go all in. And this is the one year. This isn't a year where you're flip-flopping between Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. It's not Mitchell Trubisky and Russell Wilson. You went all in on this season. You traded for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. You got Aaron Rodgers. So
DK
there's
Metcalf.
a lot on the line. DK Metcalf, yes. How can I forget about DK? Maybe because he's suspended. So that's just what's happening in the current state of the Steelers. And this is a team, you can have a lot of endings. You could potentially have the ending of John Harbaugh as the head coach of the Ravens. You can have Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. You can have Aaron Rodgers playing his final NFL game. A lot on the line. Mo, did you give your prediction yet for this game?
Don't think I did. I was just going to bring that up. But I also have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking it over the Baltimore Ravens.
So finally, we get 3 for 3 on predictions. We have the Steelers. But before we go into...
4 for 4, actually. I think
Nick also had the Steelers.
Nick, don't hate me, Nick. I forgot about you,
Just
buddy.
like the Wendy's meal, 4 for 4.
Right now, Nick is devouring some chicken parm, so I hope he's enjoying his chicken parm. But before we go into upset of the week, very quickly, let's go into one coach, no matter if it's a team that's eliminated or currently in the playoff picture that has the most on the line this week. Mo Camel kickstarted off.
I think quite frankly, I think it's John Harbaugh. I mean, it's what Lorenzo just said. I mean, it's like his job is on the line for this game. I mean, as Lorenzo said, the fans want it, and they might get it if the Ravens don't win this game. I mean, as you said, their season has just been it's been a wonky season. They started 1-5. Okay, they won 5 straight games, but they still haven't been playing their best football. So I think, I mean, and they haven't been going anywhere. I mean, they lost in the divisional last year. 2 years ago, they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. This team just hasn't been, and Lamar also hasn't been the same either. So it's just like, I don't know. You just gotta press the reset button and start from scratch. I think if you're the Ravens organization.
Yeah, that's even if the winner of this game, because I can totally see it play out where Pittsburgh wins this game and then Houston trots along to Acrisure Stadium and blows us out by 30. Seriously, I could see it because that is how playoff games under Mike Tomlin have gone in the past.
I mean, let me say this, Sebastian. Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. Like, if the Steelers win this game, they are going to have a tough opponent at home either way. You're either going to have the Texans or the Buffalo Bills or the Chargers. Now, honestly, I feel like the Steelers could hypothetically beat the Chargers because of Justin Herbert's.
That's who I want. I would want
Justin Herbert's. Yeah, because of Justin Herbert's past playoff games. Justin Herbert has not been good in the playoffs, and like Lorenzo said, the Chargers are frauds.
100%.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. With that Houston defense, if CJ Stroud, whoever they play, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, I think that's the most likely outcome. Obviously, upsets can happen. So we'll see. We'll see in that regard. So Mo takes John Harbaugh. I am going to go not necessarily a wild card, but I am going to say Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll has a lot on the line this week. You're 2-14 right now. You're in your first year with the Raiders. If they lose this game, and Pete Carroll said it himself, he would be open to being part of the Raiders rebuild. If they hold that number 1 draft pick, you have to imagine they draft Fernando Mendoza. He would become, hopefully, your franchise quarterback. Him or the game yesterday by Chambliss from Ole Miss. He was very good. But they have to take a quarterback. You can't keep going with Geno Smith. You just can't. You can't keep going with Geno Smith.
He's not the same.
No, even if
he's not the same.
Even if he was average, he doesn't take you over the top in that division. He just doesn't. He doesn't take you over the top of a healthy Patrick Mahomes. Bo Nix with that defense, they're a good team. And then Herbert's pretty solid in the regular season. So I'm not saying Mendoza does, but you don't know until you draft the guy. And he's a proven winner as of right now. Beat Alabama by 35 yesterday. So I think Pete Carroll, if they lose this game, he's done. There's already a sour taste in the mouth of the Raiders organization. Owner Mark Davis is not very happy. If you win, if they beat the Chiefs, I still don't think that secures Pete Carroll's role for the 2026 season, but at least you end on a good note and you put that in the mind of Mark Davis and minority owner Tom Brady. He knows how to win, and so does Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is not only a Super Bowl champion, he's a college football national champion with USC. So he knows how to win, but are you willing to go into a rebuild with a soon-to-be 75-year-old coach? I don't really know. Lorenzo, what's your take?
I mean, wait. To add on to that, Sebastian, I mean,
yeah.
After week 1, they beat the Patriots, right? They were 1-0.
Yes.
I honestly thought the Raiders were going to be, they're going to be a competitor in the NFC West. And then, the ship just fell off. AFC West. Yeah, and then after that game, they fell off the ship. And, now they're 2-14 with potential to get the number 1 pick here. So, yeah, I mean, things just have not gone right in Vegas. And like you said, that might just have to move from Pete Carroll and, again, hit the reset button.
Yeah, I agree. Lorenzo,
take it away.
Your coach. Yep.
All right, gentlemen. Great picks there for coaches. I do got to say, those were some excellent choices. I got 2 on my mind right now, but I'm going to start with the first one. The biggest one on the line for me is actually Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers.
It's a good pick.
I'm going to pick Matt LaFleur because he has been absolute. And Mo nailed it right on when he talked about the Chargers and how bad they are in the playoffs recently. Matt LaFleur has really, and the Packers, these past couple games, if you look at it, they've had some ugly, ugly losses. I mean, first of all, that Ravens game already should be a red flag. I mean, you let them score 41 points? 41? 41. Unbelievable. I saw nothing there. That's a game I saw no fight for the Green Bay Packers. And then, you lose. They make all this hype about them, how much the Bears suck, all this and that. You know how it is in Green Bay. It is the most historic rivalry in football, the Bears and the Packers. They went in a nail biter on, I think it was week 13, around there. They won in a nail biter against the Bears the first game. It was the first game. Then they lose to the Broncos, amazing team. I think we had the Broncos for that one. Majority of people did. And then they lose in overtime to Chicago and the Bears, team that I picked personally. But that Ravens game was absolutely terrible. And he's been an underwhelming coach these past couple years.
And lost to the Panthers, too.
Yeah, they lost to the Panthers. That's right. They lost to the Panthers earlier in the season. They lost in a very ugly game as well the next week, actually, against the Philadelphia Eagles. That was just terrible all around. This game coming up against the Vikings, I think they secure a victory, but he has been very underwhelming since losing Aaron Rodgers, I think. And feel like the system hasn't been as good to him. It's been a rough time. I feel like because of the playoffs, Green Bay is such a historic franchise. They've won the most championships of any team in NFL history. That's just period. They've won the most championships. There's a standard in Green Bay that is a little bit higher than almost every other team in the league. And a lot of fans don't understand that. In this regard, it's kind of the Packers are like the Yankees of football. It's in this regard, it's having a 9-8 season and then losing in a divisional round, and then the following year, you lose in the wild card and get blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just a rough stretch to go down. And this season, they're playing on a limb for the most part. They're 9-6-1. They're not as bad as their record looks, but they're certainly not as great as it looks as well. And this has been a rough year for them. And honestly, if Matt LaFleur keeps this losing streak going on to the Vikings and then going on into the playoffs, they're going to be bruised with a bad knee going in, literally. And I feel like that they're going to be first-round exits again. It's just a cycle thing for me. I feel like that's why I think he's on the hot seat for the most part. And my second guy, I got to go with Todd Bowles. I mean, I have faith in Todd. I had faith in Todd so much this season. Before the preseason, I was telling you guys, I think Tampa Bay is going to win the Super Bowl. I think they are a Super Bowl contender. Last season, they looked phenomenal at the end of the stretch, except for the playoff game against Washington, which that was really bad. I mean, talk about luck against you fully with the final kick. It was just I felt like after that season, the next year they can definitely win the Super Bowl. And wow, has things gone in reverse like that, as we mentioned earlier on the show. Todd Bowles was the former Jets coach.
New Jersey native, too.
A New Jersey native as well. That's right. He is a New Jersey native, right in Elizabeth. I feel like there is still a way that he can weather the storm next season. I don't see it this season. And because of that, I think the Bucs are going to be looking into a new head coach if he just can't get it done. And straight up, it's kind of fallen against him. Having the Panthers fighting against Carolina for the division is definitely an ugly situation to be in. You're under 500 right now. It's just an awful way to – it's probably the most disappointing team in the league right now is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And number 2 would be the Colts. But the Buccaneers are the most disappointing team in the league right now. And
especially after they started 6-2.
Yeah, and we mentioned that earlier, Mo. They did start 6-2, and now to change to 7-9 right now. and you have to fight the Panthers, and now people are now the critics are they're not in your favor anymore. It's a rough situation all around, and I would not want to be on that Pirates deck for that, because there's no treasure of gold at the end of that voyage, I'll tell you that. And yo-ho and a bottle of dumb for Todd Bowles and the rest of the Buccaneers squad. But Matt LaFleur and Todd Bowles for me tied it for coaches on the hot seat.
Can't go wrong either way with those two coaches. A lot on the line, and we have ones we didn't mention. Aaron Glenn has a lot on the line. A lot of people, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, they have said publicly that they believe Aaron Glenn's job is secure. But who knows? Another loss. We know Woody Johnson, he can pull the plug. I don't know. So he has a lot on the line. Of course, we just mentioned Pete Carroll. You compared Lorenzo, Matt LaFleur, Yankees, right? And the MLB. You can honestly say they're the NFC's Pittsburgh Steelers. They're finding a way to sneak in, and then they haven't done enough to create a lot of damage. And for a guy like Jeff Hafley, another New Jersey native, who is looking to be a head coach, not a good look when you give up 41 points to a lot of guys on the Ravens who were backups in that game, including quarterback Tyler Huntley. So not a good look in that regard. But it is that time on the Sports Corner. Before we wrap things up, I will give you guys a second to pull up the Week 18 schedule. It is upset of the week. I will kick things off just for my brother right here, Mo Camel, because he is going to the game on Sunday. I think with Jackson Dart, they have a little momentum. They won last week. I think the Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys. Jackson Dart plays well. Give me a Tyrone Tracy touchdown. Mike Kafka gets his second W as interim head coach. I like the Giants in this game at MetLife. LG3, what do you got?
All right, just to make this one quick, because I've been going on spiels here, talking football with my guys.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's been it's going to be for the most part, overall, it's going to be a very great week of football, like very interesting week of football all around. However, the biggest upset of the week in my eyes is going to go to the other side of the NFC South between the Saints and the Falcons. Give me Big Easy, who dat, New Orleans Saints to actually, you know what? I'm going to say right here, I think it's not going to be close, and I think New Orleans is going to take a huge victory over the Atlanta Falcons. I do not trust the Atlanta Falcons at all. I think they're the worst team in the NFC South. Honestly, I think they're the worst team in the NFC South, and I think the Saints can get a big W here and end off the season on a great note. They don't really have much to play for, but hey, why not play spoiler on this one? Like Mo mentioned earlier in the show, they have a lot of momentum heading into this one. 4-game winning streak. The team's energy has got to be high up here. And plus, you got to feel good when you beat the Panthers earlier in the season. And you actually had a nail-biter against the New England Patriots. So, Give me the New Orleans Saints, Big Easy, to win this game. I'll be rooting for the Saints this weekend to beat the choke artists themselves, the Atlanta Falcons. Mo Camel.
Yeah, I mean, my upset of the week is going to go in honor of you guys. It is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers taking it over the Baltimore Ravens, as I mentioned earlier. Because, guys, honestly, there's the can.
Cheers to that
guys,
right there.
It's because, as you guys all mentioned earlier, like they're hating on the Steelers. Everyone's doubting the Steelers, not winning this game. Ravens favored -4.5. Everybody's in favor of Baltimore. But I think the Steelers are going to shut up those haters, and they're going to go out and they're going to make the playoffs.
What a way. Look at Mo and Nick providing the good luck here on the Sports Corner. All right, before we wrap it up, Lorenzo, on the spot again. Are you ready?
I'm ready for anything, man. I was born ready.
All right, name the 1971 NFL MVP and the two teams that played in the Super Bowl.
Oh man, the 71 MVP.
1971.
It was actually, fun fact, first NFL defensive player to ever be named NFL MVP. Go watch some footage of him right after this. That's my homework for you guys. Alan Page from the Purple People Eaters. Along with the line of Jim Marshall and Carl Eller and the rest, and Mick Tinglehoff, the rest of that incredible Vikings team of the 70s.
What a name that is, Mick Tinglehoff.
Oh no, he was a guard actually. Excuse me.
I love that name, Mick Tinglehoff.
Old school NFL fans. He was a guard. My fault. He was not part of the defense. Okay. But Alan Page, one of the best defensive players in NFL history, Hall of Famer right there. He was the NFL MVP and Super Bowl VI. I remember it like it was yesterday. Miami Dolphins, or Dallas Cowboys, excuse me, over to Miami Dolphins in beautiful, historic Tulane Stadium, which unfortunately has been lost with time. But thank you, Sebastian.
All right, wait. The two teams in the Super Bowl that year.
That's what I said. Cowboys and the Dolphins. 71?
Yes.
71-72 season. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, Cowboys and the Dolphins.
What a way to cap things off on the Sports Corner. Fellas, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, I like stats just like you, Sebastian. In the NFC West, if the Rams win tomorrow against the Cardinals, that would be the first time in NFL history that a division has 3 12-plus win teams finishing the season with 12-plus wins. That is the first time in NFL. I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, and during the show, I got the notification from Adam Schefter. No matter the results on Saturday night between the 49ers and the Seahawks, McVay plans to play his starters, so that gives him a great chance. I don't think Devontae Adams, which is the right thing to do.
No, I don't think he's playing.
If I'm
in the post game, Sean McVay's like, "Oh, we're playing." Oh yeah, we're playing. It was like he was not happy after that loss to the Falcons.
Yeah, especially you play Puka. Maybe even if it's for a half, you do what you got to do. You rest Devontae Adams. That offense gets healthy. The defense is still. You're going
to the playoffs anyway, so it's better not to. You want to bring back Adams 100%, even 90%. You want to bring him back in good shape, and you want to have a chance to go on the road and win a playoff game.
No need to rush him. LG3, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure doing this show with you guys. Hopefully we got one coming up.
A lot of fun.
Hopefully we got one coming up next week. It was an honor to hear Mo Camel, his first debut episode.
Making his debut on the Sports Corner. What a debut that was.
That's right, what a debut indeed. It was just wonderful seeing you guys talking some football. I've been a little bit under the weather recently, and this really lifted my spirits, you could say. And, of course, a toast to Mo. Tonight, the Iron City Beer Toast is to Mo Camel.
Toast to Mo Camel.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think it's an upset, though. However, I will take Mo Camel's prediction of the Steelers over the Ravens. It was just wonderful talking with you guys tonight, and we got one last week of regular season in the NFL. Let's see how things shape up.
Hey, I know I always say it at the start of the regular season. It just always feels like the season goes so fast. We get to week 1 in September. Here we are, week 18, and listen, I had a blast doing this. Hey, maybe we get a little super wild card weekend preview next week. We'll see. We'll see how everybody's schedule is looking. Maybe we get Nick Supa on the full call. Right now, he's devouring some chicken parm. I got a scissor as my.
Oh, whoa, whoa!
Nick is going crazy on.
He sent you the photo yet, Sebastian?
No, I don't. That's why he needs to send me the chicken parm photo so I can put it as the thumbnail. Thumbnail.
Maybe I need some chicken parm after this.
We all have to tell Nick Supa, send the chicken parmesan.
Yeah, we got it.
Right after this call,
we got to ping his phone.
Right.
Well, listen, great time on it from Sebastian Stratton, Nick Supa, who left earlier, LG3, Lorenzo Gonzalez III, and Mo Camel. You have been listening to another great episode of Season 2 of the Sports Corner. Have a great weekend. Let's go Steelers. And let's go Giants. For Mo Camel, hope you have a great time at the game, buddy. Have a great weekend.
G-Man. Let's go G-Man.